Geoffrey of Monmouth, a 12th century historian, first introduced us to the name Caliburnus. In his book, The History of the Kings of Britain, he describes this magical blade. King Arthur wields it. This sword, according to Geoffrey, was forged in Avalon. This magical island adds an element of wonder to the very creation of the sword. Even in its earliest form, Caliburnus represents power. It symbolizes Arthur's right to rule. This concept, a magical sword tied to kingship, would echo throughout history. It plants the seed for the legend of Excalibur as we know it. The name Excalibur emerged later. It evolved from the French interpretations of Arthurian legends. These French romances, written in verse, further romanticized the sword. They linked it to the enchanting Lady of the Lake. The Lady of the Lake, a mystical figure, gifts Arthur the blade. This act adds a layer of otherworldly power to Excalibur. It's no longer just a sword, it's a gift from the supernatural. This connection to magic deepens the sword's significance in the Arthurian tales. Two tales, one king. There's often confusion about how Arthur obtained Excalibur. Was it the sword in the stone or the gift from the Lady of the Lake? In many versions, these are actually two different swords. The sword in the stone proves Arthur's right to rule. It demonstrates his strength and worthiness. Excalibur, received later, becomes his weapon in battle. It symbolizes his power and destiny as king. This duality adds complexity to Arthur's story. While Excalibur is a mythical object, it likely draws inspiration from history. Celtic mythology is full of magical weapons. These tales could have influenced the idea of a supernaturally powered sword. Roman influence is also possible. The Romans occupied Britain for centuries. Their advanced metallurgy and swordsmanship left a mark. It's easy to imagine how a Roman sword could become mythologized over time. Section 5. Could these be the real Excalibur? Searching for a historical counterpart? Could a real sword have inspired the legend? Some historians believe that swords discovered in rivers and lakes might hold the key. These swords, often ritually deposited, could be linked to ancient Celtic traditions. While we may never find a definitive real Excalibur, the search for it is fascinating. These historical echoes remind us that myth and reality are often intertwined. Section 6. The Lady of the Lake's Gift, a deeper dive into ritual and symbolism. The act of receiving Excalibur from the Lady of the Lake is rich with symbolism. It echoes ancient rituals of sword offerings to water deities. This act connects Arthur to the forces of nature. It reinforces the idea of his divinely ordained kingship. The Lady of the Lake becomes more than just a character. She represents the power of the natural world. Section 7. Excalibur across cultures, blades of power and destiny. Excalibur is not unique in its symbolism. Many cultures have legends about extraordinary swords. Think of the Japanese Kusanagi no Tsurugi, a grass-cutting sword that symbolizes imperial authority. These swords, imbued with supernatural power, often represent destiny, leadership, and the triumph of good over evil. They highlight a universal fascination with powerful weapons and their impact on human affairs. Section 8. The enduring allure Excalibur in modern imagination. The legend of Excalibur continues to fascinate us. It appears in countless books, films, and video games. From T.H. White's The Once and Future King to the film Excalibur from 1981, the sword maintains its grip on our collective imagination. Excalibur's enduring popularity speaks to its timeless themes. It represents courage, responsibility, and the allure of destiny. The sword continues to resonate with audiences across generations. Section 9. A sword that still speaks. The timeless themes of Excalibur. Excalibur is more than just a weapon. It symbolizes the burden of leadership, the weight of responsibility, and the struggle between good and evil. Arthur's journey, intertwined with the fate of his kingdom, reminds us that true power comes with great responsibility. Even today, Excalibur's story compels us to ask ourselves, what would we do with such power? How would we wield it? These are questions that continue to resonate long after the story is over.